8 goals scored against Bayern Munich and Real Madrid in the space of 4 days. A declaration of ownership from a 17-year-old at the Bernabeu, and a sad, sad turtle. Barcelona was supposed to be shambolic this year, broke, destitute, no direction, led by charlatans. Real Madrid was supposed to be unbeatable, rich, stacked, fit, incapable of doing any wrong. Instead, defense? No thanks. Eyebrows? They hold no power here. We're talking El Classico today. Hello, hope you're well. Welcome back. Just came back from a holiday last week, which is why there weren't many uploads. It's the first time I've really taken a break like that since really starting this channel. Felt pretty good. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was one of those people that thought that Real Madrid were going to absolutely destroy everybody this season, taking everyone on. I even made a video about this exact opinion going into the finer details. And oh boy, have I, like many other people, been proven very, very wrong over the course of this season. Real Madrid, for some reason, have looked really, really poor this year on many occasions. The last match that they played before this Barcelona match is true testament to that. Yes, they beat Borussia Dortmund 5-2, and it was one of those classic Madrid comebacks, Madrid DNA type beat, but they trailed 2-0 at one point, conceding both goals within 4 minutes. Both goals came from Madrid's defense logging off. Subtle foreshadowing. And when cracks, any cracks, begin to show for the most successful team in club football history, you know that the media is going to run with any form of negativity that they can find, that they can get their hands on. The other day, I was reading an article on how Madrid's fitness coach's methods are antiquated, and he's the real problem behind their injuries and thus current form. Then again, the outlet that posted this article may not be the most reputable, I've been told. This man was appointed to Real Madrid in 2021. Since then, they've won 2 Champions Leagues and 2 La Ligas. I don't think that these same people were hearing these complaints back then. Plus, I'm pretty sure the majority of the team's injuries are contact related. Kylian Mbappe has scored 6 goals in 10 appearances for Madrid in La Liga so far, which for almost every other player on the planet would be a wonderful return. Not for Madrid, and also not for a man who so much of a fuss has been made over in the lead up to his monumental move, all those constant years of consistent drama. Plus, about half of his goals have been penalties anyway. I think roundabout now, Mbappe is probably realizing that he's not really at the level of the best just yet. He's not even the best player in his own club, or second best, depending on your opinion. He's no longer the biggest fish in a comparatively tiny pond, but everything points towards him getting there at some point. In reality, everything is almost always overblown when it comes to this club. Real Madrid is not in crisis, but they are experiencing some less than ideal form. However, that news, it's not really going to encourage any Madridista, because Barcelona, on the other hand, have been on an absolute tear. This team has scored 47 goals in 14 games this season. They've scored 13 in the last 3, and those were against Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and Sevilla. As for Bayern Munich, I guess you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Hansi Flick knows how to play both sides, so he always comes out on top. You gotta respect it. This version of Barcelona is unlike what we've seen in a very, very long time. So long, in fact, that I'm gonna need the help of some Barcelona fans in the comments to tell me when the last time it was that they played like this. And I'm not talking about goal scoring, I'm talking about their overall play style and how direct they are. Barca do tend to keep possession of the ball more than most teams. That still remains the case, and which will always remain the case when it comes to traditionally stronger sides. But it seems that by no means is this through the same thought process from previously successful Barcelona sides. Where the Guardiolas and Luis Enrique's did so in the past to maintain control and avoid risk, Flick looks to embrace the riskier side of the game and unleash his players' explosiveness. The long balls we're seeing, the extreme high line and forward press, all of this is just so wild. Barcelona are truly back, to the dismay of many. I think what this goes to show is that no matter what people think, this is a club that's immune to collapse. Yes, they still have immense levels of debt. That's not going away anytime soon, but if you know anything about the history of the past, it's normal. Plus, youth will always come to the rescue. Marc Casado was probably the man of the match against Madrid. Cubarsí was doing crazy work all game. Yamal is Yamal. La Masia is always doing crazy work.
Spectacular. Give me 14 of them right now.
Really? Mm-hmm. Do you know what's in here?
I don't care. Don't tell me. Fabulous. Fabulous.
Going into the match, it's obvious, talking about it now, that Barcelona were the favorites, but it was all set up quite well. There was only 3 points separating the teams. The top 2 teams in the country, as expected, yes. But of course, as we've already said, Barcelona were scoring at will and Real Madrid were showing defensive weaknesses. As a neutral, this was very, very fun to watch. The first half was pretty open. There wasn't really much to separate the two sides. However, I would say that it was Real Madrid that had the higher quality chances. Vinicius should have opened the scoring after leaving Jules Kounde in the dust in the 23rd minute. Sadly, his finishing reverted to 2019 Vinicius and not Ballon d'Or Vinicius. And Mbappe turned into prime Alvaro Morata. The second half was a different kind of open. For some reason, as soon as the whistle blew for that second period, there was just an absolute collapse in concentration for that Real Madrid defense. The entire back line was horrendous for one reason or another. Look at this first goal. Casado is in his own half, scanning and slowly making his way into the midfield. Militao sees Rafinha and wants to rush in and close the gap. He leaves this little pocket open, which, wouldn't actually be a real problem if everyone was on the same page. Rudiger is always walking forward himself. Even Vasquez realizes what's going on and at the last minute gets himself in front of Lewandowski. So why is Mendy not noticing that his entire defensive line has shifted? This man was thinking about Black Ops 6, clearly. Because of all of this, Casado's mind is essentially made up for him, as a man with 700 career goals has open grass to exploit for a 1v1 with the keeper. This goal made it 701. And what a cool finish this was, from outside the box too. To be fair, he had a lifetime to compose himself before stroking it home. Really poor from everyone involved at Madrid, but pretty calculated, I think, at least, from Barcelona. If you look again at the replay, you can see Rafinha looks over his shoulder to see Militao's position, moves into Militao's direct line of sight to the ball, and remember, he's coming from all the way from the left wing to be there. Valverde and Tchouaméni are both occupied by Barca's midfield too. Militao has to take the bait, and Casado reacts in a heartbeat. Second goal, 2 minutes later, Balde whips in a phenomenal cross, and who gets on the end of it? You guessed it, 702. Everyone watching at home was thinking we might be seeing 5 in 9 minutes again. Genuinely, how does a team like Real Madrid allow this sort of thing to happen to them against Barcelona of all teams? Lewandowski is the only blue and red shirt in the Madrid box. Do they think he's a spectator? Barca have the quality from both sides of the pitch to drop the ball on anyone they want's head at any given moment. Yet the league's top scorer is left essentially unmarked. A brilliant header from him. Lunin stood no chance, really. Militao and Rudiger, my bros, you don't have to social distance anymore. It's been 4 years. A quick mention to Frenkie de Jong's introduction to the game in the second half, at the start of the second half. He was fantastic. He's not at full fitness, but he just brought such a calming and cool presence to the game. And his ball to Balde right before Lewandowski's second was a work of art. Olmo, also nowhere near full fitness, basically kept Madrid from throwing the kitchen sink. Always so dangerous. Almost always. The third goal was more just brilliance than mistakes being made. Rafinha is playing like a man possessed right now. Everything he does since he's been given more license to drift centrally and become more of a goal threat, being in front of goal, has been phenomenal. He started on the left side in this game, but he has played centrally as a cam, as a center forward, and done really well in the past. He drives across the pitch all the way to the opposing wide player, and what happens next is just magic. Look at the way Yamal takes the ball in his stride and just lashes it into the roof of the net with his weaker foot. Wow. Just wow. The final goal was insignificant regarding where the points were going at the end of it, but it was rather significant in sending a message. Rafinha, again. He was bullying Vasquez all afternoon, and shame on him. Respect your elders. I can see why Real Madrid are desperate for a right back under 32 years of age. Through one goal, Rafinha just lobs Lunin so easily. When I saw this live, I got flashbacks to Xavi scoring a similar but kind of not so similar lobbed goal in a Classico 14 years ago. I remember watching that when it happened too. Speaking of elders, it's the nursing bed for me soon, lads. Thoughts and prayers, please. Rafinha video coming soon. Okay, on to some final real thoughts. The crazy thing about this loss for Madrid is that it very easily could have been the reverse of the scoreline, you know, if not for some really poor decision making. It's like I said, this game was really open. Madrid came very close to exploiting Barcelona's high line, but they were just too trigger happy. They were caught offsides 12 times. 12 times in a single match. Mbappe accounted for 8 of those calls. If his run is a whisker delayed on one of his many chances that actually resulted in the ball hitting the back of the net, then perhaps the narrative is entirely different and we're watching an entirely different video today. And even with the high line and Mbappe's ill-timed runs, he got through a few times. He just turned into Timo Werner in front of goal. The ironic thing about this is that his finishing for the goals that were deemed to be offsides were actually sublime. At the end of the day, this risky business by Flick, it is by design and they're gonna keep doing it. They've done it against Real Madrid. We saw them do it against Bayern Munich. If we recall in that goal, Kane did score an offsides goal himself. Against Girona earlier in the season, they were just as risky, high risk, high reward. And right now, lucky for them, it's looking like it's all reward. They haven't really felt the consequences of one of their slip-ups just yet. And even further, Lewandowski should have had 4 goals instead of 2 against Madrid. This scoreline should have been a bigger one anyway, for both sides. To add insult to injury, Madrid were on a 42-game unbeaten streak going into this match. If they had managed to avoid defeat, that would have made it 43, a record that was held by Barcelona. Generational haters. Of course, there has been an ugly side to all of this. Videos of Real Madrid fans throwing racist comments at Lamine Yamal during the match have emerged. So apparently a lot of these idiots were claiming that Yamal should go and sell napkins on the side of the road, which is unfortunately something that a lot of impoverished immigrants do in Madrid. It's very strange behavior, but I guess there will be morons in every single fan base. The funny thing is that these are probably like the same people that defend Vinicius as one of the good ones when it suits them best. If they're Spanish, they're probably the same ones that loved Yamal and Nico Williams when they won the Euro for them. And I gotta tell you, man, you know, being a Real Madrid fan and being racist, it's like choosing life at the most unnecessarily difficult setting. Because, I mean, you know, listen, do you really need me to spell it out for you? But maybe I'm the problem here. I'm assuming that these people have any sort of thought process anyway. Regardless, let's all remember that this boy is only 17 years old. Think about how your mind responded to criticism from quote-unquote grown-ups when you were that age. Now amplify it infinity-fold. I'm aware that anybody that actually acts this way or shares these ideologies, they're not going to be watching these videos, my videos in general, for reasons. But it's worth saying, you know, we got to protect this guy at all costs. And there we have it. Let me know what you guys thought about El Classico and all the craziness that happened in it. That's all for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you're having a great day. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.